أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه ووالاه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, we'll continue إن شاء الله with the book of الإمام ابن الجوزي في الطب الروحاني. And today we talk about preventing العجب. العجب يعني being self-centered and not arrogant. Arrogance we talk about that when it comes to others, but al-ujb is with one's own self. Narcissism is a result of ujb. Narcissism is a result of ujb. Ujb is like one thinks about himself bigger than what he is, does not have humbleness, does not have humility. So al-ujb. This ujb happens from حب النفس, loving oneself more than needs to be. So loving yourself by saving it from the anger of Allah, loving yourself so you save it from disobedience of Allah, loving yourself so you become a better Muslim, that's not what we're talking about here. So loving oneself in the affairs of the dunya, which leads to a person thinking about himself in a frame of mind that bigger than who he is. So when you love someone, you look at them with perfection, the eye of perfection. So you don't see their defects. When you love someone, you do not see their shortcomings. You don't see their pitfalls. You don't feel that they are defective or imperfect, but always you see them with the eye of perfection. That's when you love someone else. When you love yourself, same thing applies. So you're not going to see your own shortcomings. You're not going to see your own defects. You're not going to see your own imperfections or flaws. You're not going to see that because you're seeing yourself as a kamil person, as a person who's perfect, as a person who's above things. And that's why it becomes very hard to accept advice, to accept a nasiha, to accept criticism. And that's what a narcissist is. He gives himself the right that nobody else should have. So he criticizes everybody, but that's why we say, if you don't like it for yourself, why like it for others? So they don't get that because they have that ujb. Ujb is the seed that will harvest narcissism. And it may lead to arrogance, it may not. Yeah, that person maybe is not arrogant at all. He's even may be humble with others, but as fake, artificial. It's not a truth. It's just this is the way that he gets to be respected. This is the way that he gets for people to value him or her. So they're showing humbleness and humility is fake. It's not true. It's not genuine. Because from inside, they feel that they are better than everybody else. They feel that they are perfect. Okay, they don't make mistakes. That's why when somebody corners them or they become unhappy, they become very aggressive. And that's what a narcissist is. Also, one of the effects of ujb يعني does not want to improve. One of the negative impacts of ujb is that the person does not want to improve because he doesn't feel defective and will be always defensive whenever somebody points that out, and also will project it on others. They will project it on others as well. How can we treat al-ujb? You have to look into your own shortcomings. First, you have to agree that there are shortcomings. As a human being, you have shortcomings. And now do not live in denial. Always keep looking for those and put them under the magnifiers instead of people doing it for you. Look at your shortcomings and your flaws and your pitfalls. Also look to those who did not look to their shortcomings. Where did they have been? Look at Qarun, what he did. Fir'aun, what he did. And Namrud, what he did. All these tyrants, where are they now? Or those who were thinking that they are better than everybody, what happened to them? If it's a scholar and he likes himself so much, he should start reading the biographies of scholars. If it's a sister, should read, married sister, should read about those guided predecessor women, females who were married and they did good. Read the stories of Khadija, Aisha, Fatima, Zainab, وأسماء بنت أبي بكر, وفاطمة الفهرية, those great women who did something in history. It was not about themselves as individuals. It was about the others. It was about how they impacted those around them. If it is a doctor, then he or she should look to other doctors who really changed the world. Okay, it's an engineer, look at the engineers. If it's a teacher, look at the teachers, and so on. So number one, you have to agree that there are shortcomings and confess that and admit that. Number two, start looking and counting your own shortcomings and don't live in denial. Number three, look to those who are in the same field like you or have the same qualification like you, same experience like you, same circumstances like you, and they don't have what you have of ujb, of this, liking of oneself, self-centeredness, and read the stories of Imam Ahmad and Ali ibn Abi Talib, for Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Read the of the Salihin, if you are among those. So whenever al-ujb comes to you, whenever that self-centeredness comes to you, then see those who are same like you, in the same field, in the same category, but they don't have that, how they are and their impact. So you will see, and it'll be easy to compare yourself in this regard. It's like somebody, he said, somebody has a dinar, gold dinar, and they so happy that they have a dinar. Look, there are some people who have thousands of dinars, but they are not that happy about it. So compare yourself always to those who do not have, and those who have, what did it do to them? It's not like you are looking for those who are above you in the dunya, so you want to be like them. No. Look, if I am happy with 1 dinar, there are people who have 1,000 dinars, so this dinar worth nothing. Not in a negative way, but even if I have 1,000 dinars, some people have millions of dinars, so it doesn't mean anything. And the happiness, all this money cannot purchase. Look at it that way. So when you look to the people above you in the dunya, you are not looking to be like them. Look at them as like what money did to them spiritually. What did money do to them socially? What did money bring them of happiness? Okay. Then we have riya after that. Riya now showing off. So we have kibr, that's arrogance over others. We have ujb, that's within oneself. And we have riya, showing off with that. So it's not only liking himself or admiring one's own self, now wants people to admire, want to show off. They feed on people's reaction regarding what they have. So I am having a beautiful house, but I want people to see that and they like it. So if they don't like it, I cannot show off with that. So I have a watch. I have ujb, means I like the watch myself. I'm happy that I have that watch and that ring and those glasses and this clothes. I'm happy with that. That's ujb. Okay? Kibr is when I feel I have better than others and others are nobody. But the riya, showing off, I want people to admire that. You see this 3 mix of evil here? Whoever knows Allah Azza wa Jal and value Allah the way He should be valued will never have riyah. Why you show off? Allah is the one who gave it to you, and Allah is the one who didn't give people. You and the people are slaves of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Why do I care? Why do I care about people, what people say? He's the one subhanahu wa ta'ala who divided this. So I thank him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am humble, so I don't need to show off. But those who know Allah will not have riyah. But riyah will happen of lack of knowledge, because of lack of knowledge of who's Allah and the qadr of Allah. If you really value Allah the way He should be valued, وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ, they have not valued Allah the way He should be valued. That's why you have kibr or ujub or riyah or all of that. But if you value Allah, you know that Allah is the one who created these people, so you're going to become nice to them. You're going to value them. You're going to honor them. So showing off in front of them or putting them down or putting yourself up is not your goal here. It's not what you look for. Actually, avoid that. You are afraid of that. But because Allah honored a human being, and those are human beings. If they don't have the money and you do, doesn't mean that they are lesser than you. They might be lesser than you financially, but you do not know their value with Allah Azza wa Jal. Maybe they are among the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So never show off in front of people, because you show off with something that you think you have and nobody else has. But they might have actually something which is more valuable than yours. Okay, so this is more of ignorance of who's Allah and more ignorance of one's own value, one's own limitations, one's own weight with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the person who knows Allah Azza wa Jal will always prefer to praise people, to bring people up. That's why the real leaders, the real good people are the ones who honor others around them, the one who make others feel better. That's why I said a great man, a great person is the one who makes everybody around them feel great. But a low-level person is the ones who force others to feel that he or she is great. You're trying to emphasize all the time that I'm great. You have to consider me like that, and you have no other way except to value me, put me up. So that is not a great person. A great person is the one that people make them great, and that they make everybody around them great. When you talk to a great person, is the one who makes you feel important, feel you worth a lot, that you are someone with value. Those are the ones with value, subhanAllah. But a person who shows off is always busy with themselves. The people who with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time, they don't care about what others think about them. So why do you show off? You show off because you want to know what people think about you. I remember one time I was visiting Egypt, one of my old friends there. I was in a meeting or something like that, and then, he called me and so where are you? I said, I'm in such and such meeting. He said, no, I'm close by. I can come and pick you up and drop you home. That was a few years before the corona, before the COVID. So that's all right. I'll take a car, a taxi, or Uber or something. I'll go and say, no, I'll come pick you up. All right, thank you. Jazakallah khairan. So he come pick me up, and he has a brand new car. Okay. So I went with him in the car, and it is about an hour ride. It's very far, 15 minutes to an hour ride with the traffic and all that. And he had his children with him, like 2 sons, older ones. And all the ride, I'm talking with him and all that, and I'm not making any comment on the car because I know what type of person, the weakness, and I know where's the weakness. So I'm talking with him about, everything happening in Egypt and all that, and my vacation is about to finish, and I'm going back to the States and all this. So he is bringing my attention to the car by all means, trying to put the AC up, trying to turn the radio or something like that, and trying to do things in the car so I can make a comment on the car. but I'm not. And then he starts engaging his sons. How do you do this and how do you do that? I don't know. This car is new. I can't figure out this and that. And I'm still, did not do anything. So he just surrendered at the end after, 15, 20 minutes that I did not make any comments and started talking general. And when I'm coming down, I said, MashaAllah, very smooth ride. May Allah protect you from its evil and give you its barakah. Oh, I got the car and I said, Assalamu alaikum. And I kind of left it. Now, he wants to say how much he paid for it. He wants to say what model it is. He wants to say all of these kind of things. And I saved him from himself. I did not want him to get into that. But it was itching. It was bothering him, eating him from inside, that he cannot show off with that. So this is how it is. Somebody like bought a new dress. Huh? If nobody in the party commented on the dress, should not be happy, even if she paid the top money for it. You see where the disease comes from? It is like what people say. You can pay thousands of dollars for it, but if nobody commented on it, you just want to throw it in the trash. So you did not buy it because what the value of it? You bought it for people's opinion. That's very corrupted thinking, and it's a losing trade, don't you think? People buy top money in a car. Why? Because you want people to say that you are driving that model, that you are wearing those kind of shoes, that you are wearing that LV purse. It's just a purse. It is a purse at the end of the day. Like, why you pay a few $1,000s in a purse? It is not to put something on it. For sure, it is not. 100%. I guarantee you, it is not to put something on it. It's not for what purses are normally made for. You bought that so you can brag, right? And the more money that you have, the more exclusive it becomes. It means not everybody can have. What are the chances that you go to a place that you have 10, 15 people who have a Louis Vuitton purse? 1, 2, that's it. You know what I mean? Now, if you buy Coach, or if you buy one of those $40,000 purses, then, same thing people pay for cars. $1 million car. Why? Because how many people can afford $1 million car? Or how many people want to put $1 million in a car, even if they have? Those who want to be different, those who want to be identified, those who wanted to show off. That's why I'm spending time on this one. You show off even with little tiny things. And when you like the compliments of people, you know now that there is some riyah in there. Be careful, because this is a very hidden, subtle disease. Be careful. You like your clothes to be good. You like to have a decent thing. Now, no problem. Buy within reason. Even if something expensive, not everybody can afford it. No problem. It's not haram to have. But now your struggle is harder, because now your struggle to maintain humility and humbleness is harder. Trust me. Don't convince me that I'm gonna have that thing and I'm gonna be as cool as possible. If I tell somebody, like, you're driving a Mercedes, would you go drive a Camry or a Ford Focus? No. Why? Like, why? They'll save lots of money. Actually, you can buy 3 cars with the price of the car that you have, and you can change in 3 cars. Every day you drive a different car, you match clothes with it. But you don't want to do that. You would rather pay in one car the price of 3, 4, 5, or 10 cars, because that logo in there. If that logo is taken away from the car, it's worth nothing, by the way. Wouldn't you agree? I'm sure you agree. If I take the logo of the Bentley or that Rolls Royce, if I take the whole logo out and I erase everything that says it is a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or one of those big cars, I erase that. Would you drive that? You drive because of that logo. So that logo is what sells the car. That I am a person who's in an elite category. الرياء هذا very is very sorrow. That's why سيدنا أبو بكر الصديق used to say اللهم اجعلني اللهم اغفر لي ما لا يعلمون واجعلني خيرا مما يظنون ولا تؤاخذني بما يقولون. Ya Allah, forgive what they do not know about me. Like when people praise him, oh mashallah, great khutbah, oh mashallah, you did good, oh mashallah, you look beautiful, mashallah, that dress looks great. But you said Allahumma, oh Allah, اغفر لي ما لا يعلمون. Forgive what they do not know. I am full of shortcomings. They're only seeing the good part. But from inside, you know me, Allah. So forgive that for me. اغفر لي ما لا يعلمون. So you humble yourself. ولا تؤاخذني بما يقولون. And do not account me for what they say. And don't let it come into my heart so I can pay for it. And I can't be accounted for this. So that means save me from riya. وَاجْعَلْنِي خَيْرًا مِمَّا يَظُنُّونَ. Yet, Ya Allah, make me better than what they think I am. So you're asking Allah to forgive what they don't know. You're asking Allah Azza wa Jal not to account you for what they say. And you are asking Allah to make you better than what they say. That's one of the ways to treat that feeling of riya. You have to know Allah also better. Read the sifat al-izzah of Allah. He's al-aziz. He's the dignified, al-qawi, the strong, al-mateen, the powerful, subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-jabbar, the one who breaks and he brings, tyrants down. Mutakabbir. Allah is the one who have a kibriya, this dignity and izzah, who is the only one, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So you remember these names of Allah, it will bring you down. And you put yourself that you are the humiliated slave of Allah. Humiliate yourself, you put your head down to Allah, you cry, you do tahajjud. And you feel that you're not worthy of praise. Allah is the only one worthy of praise. You are worthy of criticism. You are full of shortcomings. Always bring yourself like that. Rasul said, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. يعني everything is with your intention. وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَّا نَوَى. You will be accounted according to your intention. So said, Ya Rasulullah, a person asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari narrating the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim. A person came to the Prophet of Allah and said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, أرأيت أن الرجل يقاتل شجاعة ويقاتل حمية ويقاتل رياء. You see, there are people who are fighting out of bravery, and the people fighting out of tribalism to their tribe or their nation. And some people fight to show off. The people say that how they are. So some people, they go actually for war, for fighting, to be mentioned, to be a hero, so people can point to them. Riya. And some people go because of family. I will die for my family even if they're wrong. They fight because of that. Some people fight because they are brave. They are daredevils. They just challenge things. They like the smell of it. They like the adrenaline rush of it. Who among those, Ya Rasulullah, will be fi sabilillah? The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, Man qatala litakuna kalimatullahi wa hiya al-ulya, fa fi sabilillah. Those who fight, so the word of Allah becomes the dominant and the highest, they are the ones who are fi sabilillah, not the ones who fight for any of those reasons. There is the hadith that the first three people who go to the hellfire will be a alim, a scholar, and a shaheed, a guy who died fi sabilillah, died in the war against the disbelievers, and a person who spends for the sake of Allah. They go to hellfire, yes. The person who is a scholar will come, and Allah said, what did you do with the knowledge that I gave you? You said, Ya Allah, I learned the knowledge and I was teaching it to people for your sake. Allah said, you lied. Yes, I gave you the knowledge. But you lied that you did it for my sake. You did it for people to say how knowledgeable he is. He knows everything. So you did it for that purpose. So the goal of that alim is not to teach the people ilm, it's for people to admire his ilm. You see how subtle it is? Like I want to sit in the session so people can admire. That's why I'll be bothered if I'm expecting 100 people and only 2-3 people showed up. You know, so because 100 people will be more praise, more fame, more celebrity, more likes and following. Yeah. So they will go to hellfire. Take him to hellfire because he did not use the knowledge for the sake of Allah. The other person who died as shaheed, stushid, so Allah Azza wa Jal to give him his ni'mah, remind him of his favors, and he would know, did I do that? Did I do that? Didn't I do that to you? He said, Ya Allah, yes. Okay, so what did you do with it? He said, Ya Allah, I fought for your sake until I died for your sake. Allah said, you lied. You did that so people can say how brave he is. Look how brave he is, how close he is to the enemies, how fighting skills he has. So his goal was that. People will say no matter what you do, no problem. But it's not in your heart. It's not like I'm going to hear that. I want the people's praise. You know. So they will go to hellfire. They will go to hellfire. Will be dragged in his face until he's in hellfire. And the person who is spending, Allah said, didn't I give you the money and all that? Said, yes, Allah. What do you do with the money? He said, Ya Allah, I spend it for your sake. He said, no, you lied. You spend it so people can say how generous he is. They praise you. They put your name in the newspaper. And remember, I'm not saying that when people do that, then you are punished. I'm not saying that. People say, oh, how knowledgeable he is, or people say how brave he is, or people say how generous he is. You're not punished just because people said that. Because people say that anyways. But your goal is not for people to say that. I hope it's very clear, sisters. That's hadith also in Sahih Muslim. Allah Azza wa Jal, he said that whoever, I am the one who does not need any partners. So whoever claimed there is a partner to me in anything, I disassociate myself from, and I leave him with his partnership. And this hadith in Sahih Muslim as well. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam warned us, he said the things that I'm afraid of the most that it may happen to you is الشرك الأصغر, the minor shirk, minor association with Allah. قالوا ما الشرك الأصغر يا رسول الله? What is that hidden shirk or minor shirk? قال الرياء, showing off. يقول الله تعالى له يوم القيامة, Allah will say to the people who used to show off يوم القيامة, إذا جاز الناس بأعمالهم, after he reward people and account everybody for what they did. اذهبوا إلى الذين كنتم تراؤون في الدنيا فانظروا هل تجدون عندهم جزاء. Go to those that you were showing off in front of and you wanted their opinion. Find if they can reward you or not. You needed them, you needed their opinion. Let's see if they're going to reward you today or not. If you're doing it for Allah, then yes, here Allah will reward you because you did it for him. So then he's going to reward you. But you did it for the people in the dunya. Where are those people now? And nobody disobeys Allah by pleasing people, except Allah will be displeased with him and will make the people displeased with him. And whoever pleases Allah, regardless of the displeasure of people, Allah will be pleased with him, and Allah will make people pleased with him eventually. So be careful, because you do it for people, people will speak against you, regardless. SubhanAllah, somebody show off with a feast, with a walim. He said, oh, he's showing off. Look at all this luxury and all that. And they're eating from his food or her food. SubhanAllah. They're eating. But people have the grudge, have the hasad, have the hiqd. Another disease. All the diseases, they're related to each other. Some people have hasad or envy to you. They will accuse you, oh, he's showing off. Especially if that person is actually showing off. So you did it for people so they can be amazed and surprised and they are awed, but they'll criticize you. So it's a show off. So remember that Allah Azza wa Jal will show everybody in Yawm al-Qiyamah what they did. You don't want to be humiliated in Yawm al-Qiyamah. You don't want Allah to say, go to those who you're showing off in front of. in the dunya and get your reward from them. You don't want that. So humble yourself in this dunya and leave everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and never feel ujb inside and never feel riya outside. Ujb is self-centeredness and liking what yourself and giving yourself a status that you don't have, or put yourself within a frame which is bigger than you. That's ujb. And the riya is being concerned and wanting and targeting people's admiration. And you are running behind the people's admiration. That's riya. Another disease, which is overthinking about the affairs of the dunya or the things that does not bring any good. Fudul al-fikr. You're supposed to be thinking about yourself, about your life, about your ibadah, your relationship with Allah, about the grave, about Yawm al-Qiyamah, about how to keep your children as Muslims, about legacy you're leaving behind, the benefit of others, for the sake of Allah. Yeah, those are the things that you engage your mind in, and that will consume actually your day pretty much. So if you find yourself thinking about silly things or things which are not important or they don't have any value, that's a disease. That's a problem. That means you are thinking in the wrong place. It's not like because you have too much time. Time is never enough to do right things. Take it from me. Time is never enough to do good things. Never enough to do good things. Okay, so if you find yourself like doing something busy, something silly, that means you abandon something serious. That's 100%. I'm just telling you. Doesn't mean that we'll be serious all the time, but you choose. Taking a break is one thing, and engaging in things which is trivial. سفاسف الأمور. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he praised the people الذين ينشغلون بمعالي الأمور. Those who always think about important things in their life. They prioritize. ولا Allah does not like سفاسف الأمور. Allah praised people for معالي الأمور وليس سفاسفها. The trivial things, Allah doesn't like that. We're not talking halal or haram here. We're talking like how precious is your time and your effort, your resources, your energy, your life. They are so precious. Don't waste them. So, fikr, your thought, is always to something that you missed. You think about like how to fix it so it doesn't happen again. So istidrak, something farata mink, something that happened. How can I fix this? Can I follow up with it or not? That's one thing that you engage in. Another في مصلحة المستقبلية. You are planning or looking or thinking about a future benefit. So it's either something past or something future. That's what our thoughts are divided, something that happening to you now, why it happened, and what's going to happen in the future. So it's always past and future. You are engaged continuously to think within. So if it is something that past or future, but there's no benefit, then why you are busying yourself taking more time with something that has no benefit, something that it was a waste of time. Now are you wasting more time to think about it? That's not right. And if this happens a lot, you'll exhaust yourself mentally, and then you exhaust yourself psychologically, and then you exhaust yourself physically. Otherwise, people used to say that for scholars, they have to take a break from thinking so their bodies do not get exhausted. So yeah, you can take a break a little bit, but don't engage too much in silly things and trivial things. And don't go with thinking and imagining and fantasizing things. That's why dhikr is always there. Rasulullah advised the Sahabi of Rasulullah, Abdullah ibn Busr, when he came to Rasulullah, said, Ya Rasulullah, tell me something that I do not ask anyone after you about. He said, لا يزال لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. Always keep your tongue moist with the dhikr of Allah, for that not to happen. So whenever you are making dhikr all the time, your mind will not wander around. But that's why some scholars said, a person, a lay person, he wants to become like Abu Hanifa or Malik or Shafi'i. How? You don't even go to madrasa. You do not even memorize the Quran. You do not even know how to read and write. How are you going to be like them? So that's fudul al-fikr. That's extra thought that you're not going to do anything about. So don't do that, because you cheat yourself. And then you become having riyah, having ujb. You think you are somebody. Listen to a couple of lectures and they become a mufti, So be careful of these ideas. And somebody said, I want to be rich as this one, and I want to be wise as this one, and I want to be as healthy as this one. All of them in one. But those are like 4 or 5 people you already mentioned, and each one of them does not have the other things that you mentioned. But what kind of thinking is that? It's not practical. It's not realistic, and it's not going to do anything except exhausting you. Abdullah ibn Abbas said 2 rak'ahs, 2 moderate rak'ahs or 2 short rak'ahs with pondering upon the ni'mah of Allah is a way better than a whole night with a heedless heart. You spend a whole night, and people yesterday watching the election all night long. Why? Like, why you are turning the TV and all of this kind? Why? What for? And if there is a Super Bowl or something like that, and people listen to it, and they do lots of strange things, spending lots of money, lots of wealth, lots of energy in that. So people don't think or let your thinking go with it and let it flow in the wrong direction, that there is no benefit in it. Darda radiallahu anha, the wife of Sahabi Abu Darda, she was asked, what was the best amal of your husband, Abu Darda? She said, at-tafakkur wal-i'tibar. He used to ponder and take admonition from everything around him. Malik ibn Dinar, one time, he stood all night long in his house. Then when he was asked why you are like that, he said, I was seeing the people of hellfire. They are passing in front of me with their chains and everything until the morning. So that is what he was imagining. He was imagining how the people will be dragged to hellfire. Am I one of them or not? How would they look like, as is described in the Quran and the Sunnah? That is the tafakkur. Inshallah, we can stop here, inshallah. And next time, we'll talk about al-huzn, sadness, right? Sadness and worry, right? Al-huzn, sadness, wal-gham, for the past. Wal-ham is for the future. So we'll see what causes them and how to deal with them, inshallah, next time, right? Anybody have a question or comment?
Alaikum
salam.
I'm just thinking through about this what do you call that, ujub and showing off, like in your previous khutbah, you mentioned about being a muflis, right?
Yes.
in akhirah. So I think, like, how can we stop ourselves, like, besides what you mentioned, constantly being humble, but sometimes, and also I think in hadith it's also said that your deeds will not be accepted. Is it all our deeds not accepted, like our book will be cancelled, or just the specific deeds?
the يعني how the deeds are measured is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the idea here, the concept is you can lose all your deeds for the bad niyyah. So the bad niyyah in the deed loses that deed. Like, if a person does not have a good niyyah while they are praying this Zuhr prayer today, so they lose the reward for this Zuhr prayer, not for all day long or for all the Zuhr prayers, right? So they have a chance to fix it. If they are showing off with all their Zuhr prayer, then you have a problem here, that all the Zuhr prayer. If they have show off with all their prayers, they lose all their prayers and the fasting and then Hajj and then Zakah, like that. So that is the bad intention. Showing off, you lose the deeds of that thing that you're showing off because of, right? That's why that person, he showed off with the ilm. That means it was not one session or two sessions. That person his life was alim, he's teaching. So showing off with all of that. So that means when he prays, he is not praying with the person who is supposed to be alim, that's supposed to be humble. But because he's showing off with that, he's not focusing on his salah. So that showing off will destroy the other deeds as well. Okay, will destroy other deeds as well, because the mindset, the mind frame itself is for a person who shows off. So sometimes the person doesn't show off with one thing only. We're talking about a person who's showing off in general with something that controls the life, like, the ilm and all of that. How you stop yourself, always do the things, two things. For yourself, do the deeds that nobody else sees. That will help you to do it for the sake of Allah, because otherwise, how? That's why fasting is for the sake of Allah. You cannot show off with fasting, because how would I know that you are fasting or eating? There's no way for me to know. So that you cannot show off, oh, I am fasting. How would I know? You might be fasting, might not be fasting. That's why, but you can show off with salah, zakah, hajj. Yes. The recitation of Quran, yes. So that's a problem. So you always do more of the deeds that you cannot show off with, or the deeds that you can do alone between you and Allah Azza wa Jalla, like tahajjud, with dhikr alone, all of these things that you can not show off with. So that's number one. Number two, that will save you from riya and ujb and kibr and all of that, is to worry about others. Always be in the service of others. Do more of that until you break that ego. More of that. Help others. And do things that not necessarily others aware of. That's why many of the Sahaba and the Salaf and everything, they will leave the food in front of the door, knock on the door and run, so nobody can see them. And they did that for years and years and years. And people will not know until that person dies. So that thing stops, you know that he was the one who's doing it, or she was the one who's doing it. You understand? So benefit others without them knowing, or with them knowing, but you're doing it for the sake of Allah. That brings humility and humbleness. And do the worship when you are alone, that nobody else can see you. Those will get rid of this kibr or ujb or riya, inshallah.
MashaAllah, I think that's a good solution, Jay.
Yes.
Jazakumullah khair.
وجزاكم بارك الله فيكم. طيب, anybody else? بارك الله فيكم جميعا. We'll see you inshallah tonight if you come for Surah Al-Nur, and the next week inshallah for our session بإذن الله تعالى.
جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم
جزاك
ورحمة
الله
الله.
خير.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
والسلام.